In this video, we're going over the top 5 meta loadouts here in Battlefield 6. These are some of the best guns to use, and all these class setups are low level friendly. Let's get into it. For class setup number 1, we're taking a look at the M4A1, one of the best carbines to use in the entire game. It's going to be very accurate and also offering a fast time to kill. Now, for the first attachment, we are going to be running the Mini Flex 1.0. This is a nice, clean, simple, easy to use optic, and we have to be as accurate as possible to get those fast time to kills. Because of all the bloom here in Battlefield 6, accuracy is key, and this attachment is going to allow us to be as accurate as possible. Now, for the next attachment, we are going to run a top laser, and the 50 milliwatt green laser is incredible on the M4A1. This is going to be bumping up that hip fire accuracy, so if you run into somebody at close range, honestly even medium range, don't even bother aiming down sight. Spray off the hip, you're going to be able to outgun them very easily. You're going to see in the firing range how effective this actually is. It's honestly overpowered. Now, for the next attachment, we are going to be running a muzzle, and the converter, specifically the linear comp, is a massive W, giving you improved horizontal recoil control. Horizontal recoil is going to significantly make weapons harder to use at longer ranges, and coupling that with bloom, we want to remove as much of that as possible. I recommend running the linear comp on as many assault rifles and honestly submachine guns as you can, especially if you're struggling with those medium to longer range gunfights. Run it. Now, for the next attachment, we are going to be utilizing the extended barrel. The 14.5-inch carbine barrel is very important to run to improve that projectile velocity, so you can have a very fast and consistent time to kill. The bloom in this game is going to be impacting all weapons here in Battlefield 6. You want to make sure you have as much bullet velocity as possible so you can have those consistent time to kills. Now, for the next attachment, we are going to be running the classic vertical. This is amazing on the M4A1, significantly reducing a lot of that recoil. Now, when you couple this with the compensator, you're going to be having a laser accurate carbine that you can outgun a lot of the assault rifles and other weapons in the game. Definitely give this a try. And if you do want to go ahead and change out your ammunition type, you can put on the tungsten core, which is going to be significantly impacting that penetration. But if you don't want to lose a little bit of recoil control, run the standard FMJ rounds. They're both 5 points. You can't go wrong with either. You're going to see in the firing range, this is going to be a nice build because we have a fast ADS as well as incredibly easy to control recoil. You are going to have to burst fire at those longer ranges like any weapon here in Battlefield 6. As you can see, I'm not necessarily going full auto. I'm quickly tapping it, and off the hip, look at how small the crosshairs are. The hip fire is incredible. Now, with the hip fire, you do want to go ahead and burst fire it as well, but at close and medium ranges, enemies are done, absolutely done, when you go ahead and have that green laser on. I mean, look at how stupid that is. For class setup number 2, we're taking a look at the M433. This assault rifle is rock solid, fast fire rate, fast time to kill, and controllable recoil when built properly. You can set this up similar to the M4A1. For the optic, I recommend putting on that Mini Flex 1.0, but for an assault rifle, realistically, it's going to be personal preference. Now, for the top accessory, we are going to be running that green laser again. This is going to be amazing because the hip fire, even with an assault rifle, not just carbines and submachine guns, are going to be absolutely ridiculous. So definitely going to be running this on this setup. Now, we're going to be jumping right over to the muzzle, and the converter is going to be a nice attachment. I wish we could rock the standard suppressor, which in all reality is helpful on the M433. I'll have another build with this attachment so you guys can take a look at it. But for the overall ease of use class setup, the linear comp is going to make everything easier, removing a lot of that horizontal recoil, which we need kept in check with this AR. For the next attachment, we are going to be running the extended barrel. This is a must-run attachment on the M433, especially if you're still leveling it up to improve that projectile velocity. If you don't run it, you're going to have a lot of inconsistencies with the hit detection, and also you're going to be losing a lot of gunfights at those medium ranges, and especially longer ranges that you should not be losing. So make sure you guys have this on your setup. For the underbarrel, I absolutely recommend running the classic vertical. It's an assault rifle. We're outgunning players at close, medium, as well as longer ranges. We want to improve that overall recoil control so we can hit our shots to get the fastest time to kill. Overall, a solid setup. Now, for the magazine, I like to just keep on the standard mag, and for the penetration, We are going to be running the tungsten core, but in all reality, you can put on the standard FMJ rounds. A lot of people like to sit behind things in Battlefield 6, so having this is going to be a real lifesaver when trying to get people out of some hard to reach areas. Once you go ahead and jump into the firing range of this AR, you're going to see here that we have a respectable ADS as well as controllable recoil. You are going to have to burst it at longer ranges. Like I said, every single weapon here in Battlefield 6, you are going to have to quickly burst it at long ranges to counteract a lot of the recoil and to minimize the effect of the bloom as much as possible. So not only if you miss a couple shots, you still have some to take people out, but as you can see, it is going to be easy to use. And the hip fire on this, incredibly consistent with that green laser. One of the best starting weapons to use in the entire game. For class setup number 3, we're taking a look at the B36A4. This assault rifle is nice at those medium to longer ranges. Check this out. For the scope, we are going to be running the Mini Flex 1.0, but it is going to be personal preference. I recommend using whatever you enjoy that is 10 points. You can rock some other attachments. For the top accessory, we are going to be using a 50 milliwatt green laser for that hip fire accuracy. For the muzzle, I do recommend putting on the linear compensators, remove a lot of that horizontal recoil. This is one of the few assault rifles that you really honestly can just go full auto and not really deal with a lot of the recoil issues. You still want to burst fire when possible, but at those medium ranges, you can just hold the trigger down with the B36, which is incredibly nice. For the barrel, I do recommend putting on that extended barrel. That 510 millimeter fluted is going to be perfect, allowing you to improve that bullet velocity. We need that here in Battlefield 6. For the underbarrel, we are going to be using the classic vertical, so we can go ahead and drastically improve that recoil control. We're going to need it on this medium to long range AR. I do not go ahead and run any of the magazine attachments. I wish you could, but with this specific build, we're going to be setting it up for ease of use. For the penetration, we're just going to be running that tungsten core, but in all reality, you can put on FMJ here. Either going to be your personal preference if you can deal with a little bit of extra recoil. And once you go ahead and jump in the firing range with this setup, you're going to see that we have a respectful ADS as well as a very accurate assault rifle. You guys can see you can essentially go full auto with this. You don't have to burst fire it if you don't want to because of how accurate it is, but just so you get a more consistent bullet registration and so you can outgun players at longer ranges, I do recommend going ahead and burst firing when possible, but you honestly don't need to. For the hip fire, and it's going to be very nice at those close ranges and even medium ranges. It's just unbelievable with that green laser. For class setup number 4, we're taking a look at the PW5A3. This is one of the only submachine guns you can rock with a suppressor and still do well because it has great accuracy, handling, and a pretty quick time to kill. Now, we're going to run just the basic sights here. Luckily, the iron sights are amazing, so there's no need to rock an optic. We're going to run some other attachments to make this weapon even better than it already is. For the right accessory, we are going to be running just the 5 milliwatt green laser. This is a submachine gun. The hip fire is already great. We're just going to bump it up slightly. Now, for the muzzle, we are going to rock the standard suppressor. This is going to allow you to fully hide yourself from spotting and also reduces the range where a soldier is spotted on the mini-map when firing. This is going to allow you to get into their spawn and build up a streak and go crazy. And I like to rock this on the MP5. It just feels nice and it's also effective. For the barrel, we are going to run the 245 millimeter custom barrel. This is going to be bumping up that bullet velocity. We need this because of the bloom here in this game. For the left accessory, we're actually going to be skipping over these. We're not going to run them on this specific setup. For the underbarrel, I do recommend putting on that classic vertical. It's just a nice attachment for every single weapon here in Battlefield 6 to bump up that recoil control so you can get that fast time to kill because your shots are actually going to be registering. For the magazine, we're going to rock that 30 round fast mag so we can stay locked and loaded. We're going to be running and gunning with this weapon. We do not want to get caught lacking. Once you build this nice setup, you're going to be very happy because we have a respectful ADS as well as very easy to control recoil. You don't need to run a compensator here, and you guys can see the bullets are, for the most part, going to be registering quite nice. Highly recommend checking this out if you're looking for a submachine gun setup. At longer range, you are going to have to burst fire it like any weapon. But definitely check this out if you're looking for a silenced SMG or any silenced build in general to tear it up in the enemy spawn. And finally, for class setup number 5, we're actually going to revisit the M433 because I do have a stealth build for you guys to check out if you want to have an assault rifle that you can run and gun and get behind the enemy spawn with. We're still going to rock that Mini Flex 1.0, definitely a great optic, but you can run whatever you want that is within that 10-point range. We have removed the top accessory. We're not going to be running that 50 milliwatt green anymore because we're going to be replacing that with the suppressor to keep us off the radar. Overall, a nice attachment here so we can get behind their spawn and absolutely cause some problems. Now, what we have also done with this build is we have went ahead and put on the 30-round fast mag so you can have a faster reload. We're going to need that, especially if you are in the enemy spawn and causing some issues. And since we're not running the compensator, we have removed the tungsten core ammo, so we're going to have a little bit better long-range combat capability with this weapon. This is only going to be a 95-point class setup because in all reality, the other attachments just don't make sense with this AR. This is going to be an earlier level unlock setup. So this is what we're going to be working with. Once you go ahead and build this setup, you are going to have a respectful ADS as well as still controllable recoil. You are going to have to burst it at longer ranges, so keep that in mind. But this is going to be a nice suppressed assault rifle setup for you guys to check out if you want to have something you can run and gun with and still be accurate with. Definitely give this a go. As you can see, burst firing at longer ranges, no problem. The time to kill is fast. These are going to be the top 5 meta loadouts to use here in Battlefield 6, especially if you are a lower level and you're trying to level up some of the best weapons. I always play support. I like to be that combat medic to go ahead and revive my teammates. Having the P18 secondary, it's honestly irrelevant. If you have to swap to your secondary, you're probably dead anyway. For the gadget, I rock the defibrillator. For gadget number 2, I rock the GPDIS to destroy incoming grenades, smoke grenades, stun grenades. I have on the smoke grenade, and I also put on the sledgehammer because why not? Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of these loadouts. And also, if you have another loadout you think is better than mine you want to share, comment that full loadout down in the comment section. Help a fellow Battlefield player out. If you guys enjoy, drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, been in boy ears. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.